Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Brandon Beck, head football coach at Cueva High School. And Brandon, what a year so far.
Yeah,
Man.
it's
I mean,
been
ups and downs.
it's definitely been ups and downs. It's been one of those years where you got to stay focused on what you do and try to get better at what you do each week. And I feel like we're doing that. But it's been a learning year. It's been a really fun year. It's been a great senior class to be a part of. We're excited for these kids, and they've been working hard to this point.
Well, you lost a lot from last year. I mean,
Yeah, we graduated.
Talk about them. They went to college. Talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, we graduated a talented class. Not only did the kids that are playing at the next level, but you talk about guys like Nick Mertz, who played middle linebacker for us for 3 years, Jay Bados, Jaden, who is playing at a small college in Kansas. He was our slot receiver. So we lost a lot of pieces. Not only just great talent, but just a wealth of knowledge and information at the positions they were playing. I think that's been part of our recovery process, is just getting guys into new positions and getting them where they need to be so that they can learn some of these new positions and play with the confidence that they have in some of the older positions they were playing in.
You know, you made a great point just before we started. It was you started off with 2 losses, had a bye.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't really think about.
Yeah, we were expecting the bye to kind of help us out because we knew the front end of our schedule was going to be real tough. You get an opportunity to heal and get some stuff, but we played a hard-fought game against Volcano and lost by a point, and then we played Pinnacle from Scottsdale. They came up, absolutely put it on us, and we did not play well.
That was kind of a revenge game.
Yeah, a little bit. They wanted to come up, and they did it, and we didn't play well on any aspect of that game. And then we had to go through the bye, which I think hurt us a little bit because we just kind of marinated in that loss for longer than we would have if we were playing the next week. So keeping the kids focused, keeping the kids' energy up was a challenge during that off week. But I felt like the kids responded well. We played Sandia coming out of that bye and had one of our better games of the year and did a really good job offensively and defensively, moved the ball. And so those things paid dividends. But I think the bye hurt us a little bit in its timing, but that's just the way byes work sometimes. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it didn't. You beat Sandia 42-7. I mean, that.
Yeah, we really executed well. We really moved the ball well because we did not move the ball at all against Pinnacle. And so having that offensive explosion and having big explosive plays and being able to throw the ball for what I felt like was the first time all year, I think that made a big difference for us moving forward.
Well, I'll tell you, a surprising score to me was Farmington. And you had you travel, so that's all we speak about. Getting that's a tough trip. So.
That's hard. It's always hard to travel. The kids are in school for half the day, and then you get them out, and we're on the bus for 3.5 hours. We're a little spoiled in APS. We don't travel very much. These other schools, they travel half of their schedule. So it's a little unique for us because we're not used to it. But we go up there and we jump on them pretty early and get 14 points right away. And then I felt like we took our foot off the gas or lost focus a little bit. And Coach Dalton and his staff did a fantastic job of putting a game plan together. And they found a wrinkle that was hurting us, and they stayed with it all night. And it became a war all the way till the end.
Well, you said the word confidence, and losing the players you lost last year, the senior leadership you had, and also players that are playing Division I. I mean, that happened very often in your career. So.
No, it's when you have that many guys who are able to play at the next level and do play at the next level and play at the highest level, it definitely creates a void and whatnot. And like I said before we started, we have a lot of guys who played in the last couple of years, but they're playing in new positions now. And so they're having to learn the new techniques and the new positions. They got great athleticism and great ability, but it's taken us a couple weeks for them to learn their new positions. But I feel like each week we're climbing the ladder, we're doing what we need to do, and we're continuing to make progress.
Well, and you played El Dorado last week, and El Dorado's a
big
rivalry
game. I got a lot of respect for Coach Dotson and his staff. I started my coaching career with Coach Dotson at Downorty. He was the head.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the head freshman coach, and my brother, who is my offensive line coach, and we both coached for him there. So I cut my teeth under Coach Dotson. He's, everything he's done, he's been successful. He was obviously a great athlete in high school and in college, and I've watched him as a wrestling coach and as a football coach, and so I know what he brings to the table, and it's always fun to go up against somebody you respect and somebody that's kind of mentored you, and then you make it your rival game that adds a whole new level to it, but that's always fun to go against those guys.
Well, Charlie was on my show first of the year, and it's just I thought maybe this might be the year that
they got a lot of pieces. They're still young in a lot of spots. That running back's a sophomore. They actually have a ninth grader who's playing quarterback for him, and I think he's going to be pretty special. Landon Smith. he throws the ball very, very well and whatnot. So I think they have pieces in the right spot. They got Coach Castile back as the offense coordinator. I think that makes them very dynamic on offense, and he's able to do stuff and to put things together. So I think they're definitely a team that's trending in the right direction, and it's going to be a battle seeing those guys each and every year.
Well, little getting confidence. You got a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's something that
winning fixes a lot of problems. There's no doubt about that.
But you got a tough Los Lunas team.
Yeah, well, Los Lunas, Coach Hennington down there. You talk about cutting your teeth under legends. He worked under Jim Bradley down there at Mayfield, so he knows exactly what it takes. He's won a state championship himself at Los Lunas, so he knows exactly what it takes to be a championship level team. They got some very, very big kids down there. Very athletic kids. The quarterback is a kid who can make plays and put you in bad spots, and so I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think Albuquerque High is going to be a hard-fought game. There's a lot of games in this district that people don't talk about that they've got some skill in a lot of different positions. So it's going to be a battle all the way through.
You brought up Albuquerque High. Albuquerque High is kind of just under the radar. I mean,
they're scarily under the radar. We saw them, we scrimmaged them, and they bring a lot of energy. They have Coach Luch, who's the defense coordinator. He came over from Sandia and played at Rio Rancho. He's got a lot of wealth of knowledge and information. His defense is an attacking defense, and they come get in your face right away and whatnot. So it's going to be there, and they got athletes there. They got great athletes. Coach Anaya, Coach Desmond Anaya, the head coach. He's one of the calmest, just trustworthy guys I've ever met in my life. He does a great job of getting those kids ready each week. And it's a blessing to be in a district with him because, I can call him about questions and he's very open to answering things that we need and whatnot. But he's got a team that I think can give a lot of people problems.
Tell you what, we're going to go to Evergard Roofing and Solar top 10 plays of the week and come back and talk more La Cueva football.
Tash shuts things down once again. 25-19.
Faithful empty backfield. Lewis brings down the high snap. Now he's firing, looking for Smith. One-on-one, and George makes the catch. The transfer from Robertson hauls it in for the Matadors touchdown.
Pruitt puts it across. Ava Ashley. Ashley puts it down. Game 4 goes to Albuquerque High, 25-12. We'll take a quick break.
Breaking through, Wyatt sees a hole, and he's gonna go. What a play, 70-yard touchdown. Watkins handed off to Herrera. Break through another hole, and through the middle, now it's Herrera. He has another man to walk off.
Trying to draw him off again.
Tapia again, big hole. Tapia is on the way to the end zone. Foot race to the end zone. Tapia touchdown. A 52-yard touchdown run by Jose Tapia. And
Didn't start tonight. End zone shot here. It's intercepted. Severely underthrown at the 5-yard line. And a lot of room for a return for Ingersoll. And he's still up on his feet at the 40. He's finally pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
back to pass Deep shot down the right side of the field.
Got
Got a
somebody
receiver.
wide up.
Caught.
Great catch.
Caught. He rolled into the end zone. Touchdown. So Joshua Sanchez on a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Well, it's going to be a tough test for Del Norte as Los Alamos has got them the last 3 times since 2022. So we're going to have to see whether or not Los Alamos goes like this.
What a break! And he's through and all the way in the first play of the game. He's waltzing to the end zone. Touchdown Hilltoppers!
And what a start to this one. I mean, right through the middle.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Brandon back, the head football coach at La Cueva High School, and you know, a little bit of a run. He got 4-0 right now, 4-0 run right now. He lost first 2 games, and you know, team we didn't talk about was West Mason, and again, West Mason's a scary team.
No doubt. You know, Coach Brody, he's been around football most of his life. Landrick, his older son's playing at UNM. He's got his younger son now playing quarterback. They've got a lot of skill and a lot of athletes down there. So, and they throw the ball really, really well. So they can put you in a bad spot early if you don't get onto them and you're not lined up properly.
You know, and a great guy too. I mean,
Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about coaches. It seems like the coaches, you know, they're good people,
right? And
they're also very qualified at what they do.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's a wealth of information in the coaching ranks right now that we have. We've got guys who've been around and played at multiple levels and have done great things in high school and in college, and so they bring that to the table for each of their teams. And it's, you know, it's fun to get together with those guys at the end of the year at our all district or all state or all metro meetings and just talk ball with some of those guys and see what they're doing and try to pick their brain a little bit. But there's a wealth of information going around for sure.
And we just talked about this, you know, in the break there is, you know, you have 4 games left. I mean,
yeah.
Actually, really, you have 3 games after this week,
right, yeah.
and you know, all the things, you know, the selection, the seating, all that's starting to weigh in right now.
Yeah, everybody starts looking. In our office, we have a rule: you're not allowed to talk about bracketology till week 7. So we're at week 7 right now, and so you start looking at those things and seeing what you can do and where you can potentially land and things like that. And you know, there's a lot of puzzle pieces that still have to be put down, but there's definitely things that you start looking at as you get towards the end of the season.
And correct me, the first 4 teams get a bye. Is that correct?
First 4 teams get a bye, and the next 8 are playing the first week.
Right. And do you think you can climb up by then if you win out?
Potentially, you know, I think there's a lot of things that are going to have, you know, the NMAA has very clear criteria.
Guidelines.
So you really don't, you pretty much know where you're at the end of the season because you can follow that criteria, which it's nice because it takes out all the guessing and so those are things that are nice. You know, there's a chance at it. A lot of things got to go right for us. We need some help in some other situations, but you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel and an opportunity to be up there, and that's what we're fighting for. But we got to get past a very hard Los Lunas team to even think about those things.
You know, it's a great point. I mean, Los Lunas. We spoke, you know, about Hennington's dad coached at Clovis High School.
Yeah, so you're talking about 2 of the greatest coaches ever,
right?
That he got to be around and whatnot. Those men are legends. You know, their winning records and the things that they've accomplished are just astronomical on the football side.
You know, I got the greatest Hennington story, and I said I'd do, but you know, one time I was playing basketball, and he comes into the gym, and at that time, everything that La Cueva had on the jersey property of Clovis High.
Right.
And I'm wearing a football, and I'm a basketball player. He walks in the gym, and he says, "I think you're going home with no shirt tonight."
Time to take it off. Yeah.
So, but it was great that my cousin somehow giving it to me.
Yeah.
You know, for to wear around.
Lots of tradition down there in those two schools.
And anyway, but when you think about that, and like you said, I didn't realize the camaraderie between them. But this is this is your big game. This is your game of the season right now.
Yeah, we really knew that these El Dorado and Los Lunas were two big things that we had kind of looked at when we started the season, and we knew we had to play well at these games. Not to take away from any other games that we have, but when you order them and we have to face El Dorado and then back-to-back Los Lunas, that really puts a strain on the packages we have to put together, because they're two very, very different teams, and it's going to be required for two very different game plans. And so, we got great coaches who've done things and putting plans together, but we're looking forward to a good Friday night.
Well, another team, we talked about Albuquerque High that really, just seems to just be staying right there and getting things done. But also Ciebla, Dave Howe's what he's doing. The team didn't win a game last year, and they're giving everybody fits. They've played everybody they've played them to the T, and sometimes they've come out on top, and sometimes they've been really close. But they got that ball kid who's going to UNM and playing linebacker for UNM, but he also is all world. He's like a utility knife for them down there, and he does fantastic things of making big plays. And he's getting the ball, and you still can't stop him. That's how special of a player he is. That's tough when he's going to get the ball and you can't do anything about it.
He's just going to make plays, and that's what he does for them.
You remember Riggins from Washington?
Yeah.
It was right, left.
Yeah, you go this way, you go that way, and everybody knows it's coming. Even people, his grandmother probably knows it's coming, and still he's just a hard young man to tackle.
And he does it effortlessly.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. When you watch him, you don't think he has any speed.
Right.
But then
he's just running by people.
He's running by people.
Yeah, running by or running over people, and that's kind of what's unique about him. He can run by you, or he'll just flat out run you over. But the thing that I've always heard about him from when Coach Williams was there and whatnot, and Coach Howes, is how good of a young man that kid is. So he's fun to watch.
We're going to take another break, and we're going to come back and talk about the rest of the state and kind of see where your team fits in amongst the rest of the state.
Sounds good.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Brandon Beck, head coach at La Cueva High School football. I tell you, you got me. I got goosebumps right now. We started talking about football and about the things happening, and then I think we both agree that Las Cruces and Cleveland are the teams to beat right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They're the top two teams. They played each other in an absolute war. That running back for Las Cruces is just unbelievable. But they're the top two teams going into it, and everybody else right now is chasing them and whatnot. But you never know how injuries play out towards the end of the season and things like that. Cleveland's already lost a big weapon on offense, so those things will play a role down later in the game. But they're definitely the top two teams.
Well, a team that I've just counted my eyes is Hobbs.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're speak on their behalf. I haven't seen it, or I just was just looking at.
Yeah, we've watched film. We watch as much film as we can get, and we've watched a couple of their games, and they're a dangerous group. They're a one-horse town. All the kids play for Hobbs, and they're not bleeding kids to other schools and things like that. So they've got, I think they got the train rolling in the right direction and whatnot. They got a lot of talent, got a lot of community support, and I think they can cause waves. I think this week's game against Centennial is going to be a big showdown, but I know Coach Ocampo will have his guys ready for war because he always does.
Well, another team that, really a team that beat you early in the year, Volcano Vista, and it seems like they're under the radar too. But
that quarterback that they have, when we played them, we played with both quarterbacks. Unfortunately, the quarterback, Spirit, he had broken his collarbone in our game, and so they're kind of on the same track we are. They have a new quarterback learning the system, and each week he gets better and more dangerous. So I think they're going to be a team that's going to cause a lot of problems. They're going to be a team that's going to be hard to beat when that quarterback can throw and run. He's very dangerous running the ball. So it's going to be a team. That district's a grind, and they still got to go through Cleveland and Rio Rancho, so those games are going to be very interesting.
No, that district, these next 3 weeks is going to be and it's going to really affect the selection of seeding. Yeah. If Volcano wins out, then that's one thing. If they lose, then that gives an opportunity for you. Something you were talking about for you.
Opens
if you win
the door
out.
Potentially. Yeah, we got to take care of our business, but it's that's going to those games against those teams coming up, and Cibola in the mix at the end of that's going to be very difficult for those teams too. So that district's going to be interesting. I think that's going to have a big play on how the seeding selection goes.
In Rio Rancho, that's another team that's always seems to be right there, and the next 3 weeks is really going to determine really how the state's going and what the scores are going to really see what pans out.
Coach Pino's got a great staff, and he's got a great kids. His quarterback is really not enough people talk about how talented that kid is, and they have a backup quarterback who's really talented as well. So I think their offense and their quarterback play is going to be something that they're going to lean heavily on, but it's going to be. None of those games are going to be easy for any team, I don't think.
Well, I want to say, hey, congratulations, 100th win.
Thank you. That's really a representation of the staff I have and the community we serve and the kids that come through our program. That's a program accomplishment, not necessarily mine, but it's just been a fun ride to be a part of and to watch those guys put victories together and some of the games that we've had to win to get there. It's been a fun ride.
I know you kind of downplay it, but it starts with you. I mean, and seeing, you got great coaching staff, you got great administration, and the whole. I mean, all the coaches back each other. I mean, it's a great environment.
It's a fun place to be a part of. It's a fun place to coach at. The unsung thing that people don't talk about is you got to have a great supportive administration to be successful. And we've been really blessed at La Cueva to have administrators come through who support athletics and to allow us to do things and to make situations and change lives. And so it's a great community to be a part of.
Well, and what's fun, people is just the camaraderie. I mean, it's, everybody expects to win the blue trophy. I mean, that's what La Cueva is.
Right. Every year.
Congratulations, you won 2 state championships, been in the finals a couple times, and but that's what La Cueva is expected from La Cueva.
Right. The expectation at La Cueva is no joke. You talk about a community that's supportive, but the expectation is very, very high, and you got to meet that expectation every single day. And we're just, really blessed to have the men that are in our program and the young men that come through our program and the Booster Club and all the community members that support us. You know, we do great things, and it really takes all of us to do it.
Well, you know, we kind of hit a lot of phases, but football right now is pretty exciting. I mean, we were just talking about crazy scores and on any given night.
Right. There's been some wild games this year already. I mean, we went to overtime in Farmington. Centennial and Carlsbad went to overtime. You know, there's a lot of great games that are happening, and a lot of great things I still think to come in this state. And I think the football each week has gotten better each week, and it's been fun to get on Huddle on Sundays and Saturday mornings and watch these other games and see how every team's developing, because everybody's getting better.
So let's talk a little bit about, you know, it's the 7th week, so we can talk about it a little bit. Maybe it's the 8th week next week, but is how important is getting a bye?
It's huge, you know, because we talk about it all the time. You got to be as lucky as you are talented to win it all, and part of that luck is just being able to heal or be healthy at the right time. And that week off really gives you an opportunity to get your legs back underneath you before you make the grind of the playoffs and whatnot. So that bye plays a big role in everybody's success, to give everybody a chance to recover and to get better and to make sure we got guys in the right spot and guys are healthy and ready to go. So it definitely plays a big deal.
Well, you know, and then if you don't get a bye, then how important is having a home?
If you don't get a bye, you want to be at home as many times as you can, because traveling is a different beast when you got to travel, especially when you got to travel for a playoff game, because traveling home after a playoff game after losing is a long, hard bus ride to take. So being able to have as many home games as you can and being able to get guys in the right spot, those are big deals for sure in the playoffs.
Well, you know, right now, I mean, let's again go back to how big this game is right now. This is for first place, right?
Yeah, this is first place in the district right now, currently as the standings sit, and so they know it, we know it, and we know that we got to bring our A game, and we got to be as focused as we can be. We got to have a great practice. I thought that today's practice went really well. We got to have a great Tuesday, Wednesday practice. If we don't have those, then we're going to put ourselves behind the chains before the game even starts. So you got to have a great week of practice in order to play a great game on Friday. So we got to lean hard into these next couple of days to make sure we're ready.
Well, what a lot of people don't know or don't understand is you practice early in the morning.
Yeah, we practice at 6 a.m. So boys are there from about 5:30 on, and we practice 6 to 8. You know, APS's schedule allows us to do that because we start so later in the morning. And it's really worked out well for our coaches and everything, but we do everything in the morning and whatnot. And I believe in doing hard things, and getting up early is hard. Five days a week, you got to get up early and get ready to go, and the boys respond each.
Well, I think there's somebody agreeing with you, Aaron, right in there. He would miss. He'd just show up at the games.
Yeah, okay? It's funny because the media calls me. They're like, "Hey, can we come up to practice?" I'm like, "Anytime you want." What time you practice? 6 a.m. We'll send somebody else. So it's funny to see. But it's, you know, the boys respond well. We do everything in the morning, including summer workouts and stuff. So they're used to it, but it definitely is a challenge to get up there. I hate the mornings, but it does make practice better.
You know, I want to say something about your athletes. You know, I go to McDonald's almost every morning, and about twice a week they're right there.
Right.
And I tell you what, they conduct themselves like.
I appreciate that.
I mean, and I get to talk to them a little bit. They don't really understand who I am or what I am, and I'm like, I keep up with.
Right.
You guys had a tough game here. You had a deal. How you think? Yeah. But anyway, they're very. It's great that you're develop them with great attitudes, and also they understand what Cueva means to the community.
Right. Yeah. It takes a village. We always say that it takes a village to raise these young men, and we're blessed because we're telling them the same things. Every coach is telling them the same things their mom and dad are telling them, but we're coaches, so they take it to heart a little bit more. But to be around young men like this that show up every day and work hard, it really makes this job truly fulfilling, and it's a blessing to be a part of a community like that.
Well, Brandon, hey, good luck this
Thank
weekend, and also with the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one for sure.